we are off to a rollicking Wednesday Greg Cody start because he just came in here. I'm not joking, okay? Came in here and said he might have to leave a little early today because he's got some pain in his leg and he's toughing it out. He's gritting it out after having too many beers at John Mellencamp last night, and he's hurting today. But what he said, I'm not making this up.
All right.
Muttering under his breath. Nobody else was in the room, and he wasn't really talking to me. This is just something that happens with him. He's talking to himself sometimes. He actually said, I'm still young for a rock and roller. I want to start a band.
I love that.
And he almost had to leave the concert last night with a leg that hurt. And he also said, and this was stunning to me, even though I'm telling you it's John Mellencamp, he said, in that audience, I was like a high school boy. He was a young man. He said that Mellencamp is over 70, and Greg Cody felt like a vibrant young man at a concert last night with his firstborn.
That's correct. But I will say, just parenthetically, Mellencamp was by far not the oldest performance I saw in the past week, because my lovely wife has one of her oldest friends from law school, older than her, is in a dance troupe of 50 and older women. And they put on a performance.
The Golden Oldies.
It's like the Golden Oldies, but like some of them are former Rockettes. One of them was a 94-year-old woman who did a split and got up by herself. It was a remarkable thing to see.
Get out of here.
No, I swear on my life.
That seems impossible.
Put it on the poll, Juju, at LeBatard Show. Can a 94-year-old person do a split?
Yes.
Can a single 94-year-old person do a split?
Is she the one that kisses Chris Cody on the mouth?
No, that's not the one.
That's an aunt, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's an aunt that uncomfortably kisses Chris Cody on the mouth.
That's correct.
How was the night with your son? And tell us the seismic highlights of the John Mellencamp experience.
Well, it was a nice night because Christopher and I, just the two of us, don't socialize that much. And so it was, it was nice. It was a bonding thing, Of course, he's doing content during the concert, which drives me nuts. But Mellencamp
can't have a private moment anymore.
You really can't.
Can't share a moment with your son that's not shared with everybody.
Everything is content. I'm glancing over at him, in the middle of a song, little pink houses for you and me. And he's over there looking at me with his phone.
So annoying, right?
It's like
Can
ridiculous.
we have a moment?
Yes.
Right.
Did you ROCK in the USA last night,
Good
Greg?
question.
I did. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was doing that, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, you know it. But Mellencamp, okay, he doesn't have an opening act. His opening act is an endless reel of old-time movies, like classics on the waterfront, Grapes of Wrath. Okay, the first 5 minutes, you're thinking, hey, that's pretty cool. That's a nice way to bring him on stage with classic movies, black and white movies that he loves.
You're thinking that.
I was thinking that for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then it's 10 minutes, and then it's 15, and then it's 20. By the sixth 5-minute
Is he
movie,
starting late? You're expecting him to start at what time? I always expect the
5.
I expect the acts.
Early bird.
That's correct.
An early
I
bird
always
comes.
expect the acts over 70 who aren't the Rolling Stones to want to get in and out of there
Yes.
about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
That's correct.
And get out of there by 8. No opening act. Just want to get this over with. Need to make my
Right.
money and get out of here.
His opening act was a half hour of black and white old-timey movies, and by the time the curtain lifted and he began his concert, he was literally being booed. Like, people were tired of this. And I've never been to a concert before where people who are Mellencamp fans, obviously, are heckling him and saying, let's go, come on, John, we want John. So he was the first concert I've ever been to where the artist was being booed before the curtain even raised.
They wanted to get home. I mean,
Yeah, of
yes.
course. 8:30. I mean, I
Right.
got to get to work tomorrow morning. What am I doing?
It's the latest most of them have been up. I mean.
You're saying that John Mellencamp performed last night to a group of ornery, hostile old people
Yes.
who wanted to get home for the night.
Correct. Right. I was one of the young whippersnappers.
How many
Yeah.
people were there? What were the other notable events? Like, that is a very white crowd. Wayne Huizenga was successful in segregating Fort Lauderdale and Miami. He did not like Miami. He created this entire antiseptic Broward place for a bunch of old people to go see Axe and the Florida Panthers.
Right.
Over across.
That is a take right there.
On the
I
other,
mean,
it's just that.
are you sure he did that? I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
I am sure he did that all by himself. He separated Miami because he wanted a pristine place in Fort Lauderdale where all his friends could go to the orchestra.
Right. He failed at stadiums, but succeeded at segregation.
That is correct.
Okay. Got
yes.
it.
Yes. If you know this area,
Mr. H.
All right, Greg Cody, who was there last night?
Just a bunch of old people and Mellencamp. He had a 5-piece band. Pretty good stage set. The stage set alluded to his love of old-time movies, and so it was pretty good. He had creepy mannequins on the stage, and a backdrop that looked like New Orleans with the wrought iron gate and everything. A pretty cool stagecraft, and a great concert. I mean, he has 5 or 6 songs that are in a canon that would be equal to anybody. You know, he's sort of compared. He's been called the poor man's Bruce Springsteen. But you put his 5 most iconic songs up against Bruce, and they're comparable artists. He was really good.
Are we saying that? Hold on a second. Are we saying
he's got a good 5? I mean,
put it at LeBatard Show, Juju. Is John Cougar Mellencamp's top half dozen
What are the 5,
songs?
just out of curiosity? Because I don't think either
Pink
of you have.
Houses,
Pink
ROCK in the USA.
Right. Of course, Jack and Diane.
Jack and Diane.
Is an iconic
He closed
song.
with that, right?
Yeah. No, I think it was his third to last song.
You think that the catalog of John Mellencamp,
There's two missing
the
still.
top 6 is as good as Springsteen's
Hurt
top
So
6?
Good.
Hurt So Good. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt so good. That's a crowd pleaser, baby. Yes, I'm gonna stand by that statement. Mellencamp's top 5 is equal to Bruce's top 5, but then when you get from
No way.
6 to 20,
Right.
that's when the boss shines forth. I'm comparing 2 white singers.
Did Chris enjoy
Sue
the
me.
concert?
Yeah, he did. He did. You know, because he didn't know Mellencamp's music. We bought these tickets on a whim, and my wife ordered them, so they were actually good seats, as opposed to when I buy a ticket based only on price. I figure if I'm spending $220 for a ticket, it's a good seat. Not always the case now. Christopher liked the concert. I told him there were 2 or 3 songs he would absolutely know, but I would say he knew half of the songs and liked the other half, so it was good.
But I'd like to address your original commentary before the microphones went on, which is Greg Cody wants to start a band. He doesn't know if he can make it through today's show because his leg hurts.
Right.
But he wants to, at this age, start a band.
Yeah,
he wants
it's a pipe dream.
He wants band members. But you think you could still do this? You have aspirations of being a country music star,
Right. Yes, I do. As a matter of fact. But it's a pipe dream. I recognize that.
I could see it, Greg. I watched a great Columbo episode the other night where Johnny Cash was starring, and he was a gospel music singer,
Right.
and then he murdered his wife and a
course.
young girl in his choir that he was having sex with underage.
Wow.
It was rape. It was really disturbing.
That took a
actually.
dark turn. That
Anyways,
story.
I could see you singing his oeuvre.
Yeah, for sure.
You could definitely fit in that vibe.
Right.
Gospel country folk singer.
Oh, I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. Big Johnny Cash fan, the man in black. That's why I tend to wear black in his honor.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's I appreciate that.
Jessica, I would
comment.
really like to. I don't know if we can do this here, if we can stir my father, but I would really like to have you talk about Columbo with my father.
It was called Swan Song. 2 hours long.
Because my father, that's his favorite show. Peter Sellers, Columbo's his favorite show, and you
Peter
have no,
Falk, Dan.
you have. I'm sorry, thank you.
It's a fine.
That is
Big
a
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Rest in power.
It's $5.
Yes, that's right. It is a fine.
Is Johnny Cash a good actor? I have to
He
interject.
was. It was
Really?
actually shockingly a great episode.
Wow.
I mean, not shockingly because they're all great,
Right.
but the way that Columbo caught him, oh my God, Greg. You'll
I
never
just
guess
can't
it.
believe that you're interested in this show. I'm stunned. This show is so old. What is Columbo? 1970s? I was going to ask you if you knew who Mellencamp was.
Oh, everyone knows Mellencamp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got nothing on the boss, but everyone knows him.
What is Columbo?
That's a good question.
Lieutenant Columbo.
He's a homicide.
He's a homicide,
Yeah.
LAPD
Frumpy.
homicide detective.
To high school.
Yeah,
First-
he deals with like celebrity and famous people.
Yes.
One
murders
more
and stuff.
thing.
First season was 1968.
One more thing, sir.
There's no reason for Jessica to be watching that show in 2023.
It's a great show.
Why are you watching so
You need
much of
another
it?
reason?
Well, I don't think a lot of people are watching
My happy place.
1960s television
And
shows.
I think
Not the
Greg
60s.
would have been a great guest star on Columbo. I think you would have been the killer.
I could have been a killer.
What are the origins of you watching Columbo?
Not too late.
There's no origins. It's Columbo.
When did you start?
I've always watched Columbo.
Columbo's iconic.
It is iconic. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not disputing it. I just think there's at all the disconnection points generationally that we have in our audience. Most of the people listening right now have us talking about a show that feel to them, Jessica, the way that baseball card segments feel to you. Which, who the bleep is Columbo? What are they talking about? There's no reason for you to watch that show religiously.
Everyone knows Columbo.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatard Show.
Does Juju know Columbo?
Does Juju, do you know Columbo?
So Juju actually said spoiler alert when I said Johnny Cash was the killer, but that's the thing about Columbo. You see who the killer is in the first act, and then the mystery is how Columbo's going to get the killer. So it's a little, subversive because you're not, it's not a whodunit. You know who it is. You know how they did it, but you wonder how is Columbo going to figure it out.
Like the Traitors on Peacock.
Exactly.
So Juju, have you indeed watched Columbo before? This seems like something that you might have seen at some point.
You got to know I'm a big Columbo guy. Salute to that boy.
Okay, I don't think that's proof. I don't think that's proof. I think that could be. I think that's a lie. I don't think that's.
He said salute.
I don't think that is evidence. Salute to that boy. It suggests camouflage. It suggests that Juju has no idea what we're talking about, and now is just Googling it. He is cheating.
I'm not Googling it. My grandmama stayed in the country. I watched the Braves. I watched Columbo. I watched Matlock. I watched Andy Griffin.
Yeah.
Salute to you, sir. But you go to the penalty box, Dan.
tell
Dan,
him,
take your ass to the penalty box.
You tell him, Juju.
Call me a liar.
You tell him, Juju.
Back to you, Stu.
All right. You didn't answer our question, though. I mean, you really didn't.
I do watch Columbo.
Okay.
He mentioned Matlock. Columbo spawned a whole genre of TV detectives. Frank Cannon comes to mind.
Jessica Fletcher also.
Cannon.
Yeah, Jessica Fletcher, who
My namesake.
who you were named after. I know that.
Who else?
Frank Cannon was the big, heavy detective.
Right.
Matlock. I know there were others. But
Was there ever a time when detectives weren't a thing in pop culture? I feel like it's probably the most common job done on television, I would guess.
Not today, though, right?
You don't think so?
I mean, name a detective.
The entire Law and Order
was another one.
There's
the
a
entire
brand
Law and
new
Order series, isn't it?
There's a brand new series on Peacock that is a detective whodunit show, kind of. It's called Poker Face. It stars Natasha Lyonne. It's directed by Ryan Johnson. I think it's pretty good, actually. Yeah. It's not quite the same as any of these other shows we're mentioning. It's got like more of a modern spin, I think. And she's out in the desert. Starts out in Vegas. There's like a lot of casino stuff, and I don't know. It's good though. I suggest people watch it if they like mystery shows or murder shows.
But I think Witty is right that I think it's the most common job on television is the TV detective.
Is
or
it
TV
is it that
cop?
Or cop. Cop is
like Magnum PI.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, like every Law and Order franchise, the Chicago PD franchise, as Jess just mentioned, the Hawaii Five-0. I mean,
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine isn't. I mean,
Maxwell Smart.
I guess like we also if we lump in spies.
I was an agent. Actually.
If we lump in spies and like
same thing.
Chuck in the entire James Bond franchise,
right?
Like it's
you can't just chuck in spies. That's a whole other genre.
Yeah, that's another job.
Yeah, that's a different job. Yeah.
How appreciably different are
Get
spies
Smart
to
doesn't
detectives?
count.
Why?
It's more
What
of
do
an
you mean doesn't
international
count?
espionage thing.
Because that's a whole.
He's an inspector.
If you
not a
work for
detective.
a federal spy agency, you don't count. Get out of
right.
here, James Bond,
Yeah.
Maxwell Smart.
So it's in a different
Harry
category?
from Homeland.
Yeah.
Different category.
Yeah.
Yeah, but technically Bond, Greg, is he not? He's trying to arrest bad people, isn't he?
He's an international man of mystery.
Right.
He's his own genre.
007.
Right.
No, similar but not the same. It's like if you bake pizza and if you bake cookies, you're both technically baking, but you're not both bakers. You know what I mean?
But you're
Oh,
sort of,
wow,
you're-
I've never thought about
You're doing
that.
the same job. I mean,
Not
detectives
at
and
all.
spies are doing the same job, aren't they?
Looking
They're
for
trying
clues.
to apprehend the bad guys.
But Witty, I think they're saying just cops and detectives are a different category than, like the guys in Hill Street Blues are in a different category than Maxwell Smarts. I mean, oh my God, do we sound old?
He invented
jurisdiction.
He
It's a
invented the
jurisdiction
shoe
thing.
phone.
Greg, did you like the Get Smart remake? Did you ever see it with Steve Carell?
Yeah, I didn't particularly like it, to be honest with you. It was too farcical. Even for the time, it was like a ridiculous premise. And everything.
Farcical.
Yeah.
Maxwell Smart spoke into a shoe phone.
Right, exactly.
That was the original show.
Right, the original show.
Right.
That's
How is-
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, how is this too farcical from that?
Well, the Steve Carell remake, you mean?
Yeah.
I just thought the whole premise of Get Smart did not warrant a remake. Like, to me, it was something I didn't need to see remade.
Wow.
But you said farcical, so he's wondering what's the difference between the movie and the television show where he did answer a shoe phone.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there is no difference. They're both ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah.
You didn't like it.
No offense. I mean, I'm a Steve Carell fan. Don't get me wrong.
No, I remember it not being very good also, Greg.
Okay, but
I saw it in theaters,
Thank
though.
you.
Okay, but that's okay. So that's an interesting one. Have you guys ever had an experience in a movie theater where you had a completely warped perception of the movie because of the people you watched it with? Because I went to Get Smart in the theater, and the crowd went nuts for that movie. Like, it was like laughs, out loud laughs, like standing up.
For Get Smart?
For Get Smart, yeah.
The
scene-
2006
yes,
remake?
the 2006 remake. I left the
Were
movie
you
theater.
laughing?
Yes. I mean, I was 14
You were
years-
laughing.
I
Were
was-
you laughing because everyone else was laughing
No, I
and you
was
felt
laughing
like you
'cause I
had to
thought-
laugh?
I was laughing
or-
because I thought it was funny and I was enjoying this communal experience with this group of people. I was also 14 years old, but also
Every movie's good when you're 14.
right, exactly. But like, I watched it on HBO like 2 years later. I'm like, that wasn't nearly as funny as I thought it was, and was like purely informed by the in-person experience of watching a movie with a group of people that really enjoyed it.
I had a similar experience with a movie that was not a comedy where everyone in the audience was laughing. It was 50 Shades Darker, and I went with my friend on opening weekend, and I had never read any of the books or seen the first movie, but I was like, I'll be a good friend and go with her, whatever. And the whole audience, the entire movie, the audience was laughing, and it was not a comedy. Like, the movie was that bad. But I will never rewatch that movie, but I will probably have a similar experience if I do. Terrible movie.
I think the
Don't
last
recommend.
movie I went to where the theater was laughing together was Hangover. That's the last time I remember. Now, I've been to other movies where the theater is reacting together, like Maverick, but it's a different kind of reaction.
Stu,
Karate Kid was a standing ovation at the end.
I wonder if you and Greg remember the first time you saw a movie and realized that movies could be bad and what movie it was.
Wow.
Mine was The Adjustment Bureau. For that movie, I walked out of the theater with my high school boyfriend. I'm like, damn, that shit sucked.
Was that a Mark Wahlberg?
Matt Damon, I believe.
Okay.
But Jess, you're saying you see a preview, you're excited for it, you go to the theater,
Well, I just
and
mean
it's
like
a dud.
when you're a little kid, you kind of think every movie's cool,
right.
right? You don't really analyze plot or dialogue or action scenes or how realistic anything is, and then eventually you get to an age where you're like, oh, these can be bad. Darn.
I think Billy and I discussed this movie the other day. You said it was a good movie. Was the movie Sahara starring Matthew
that's a good
McConaughey?
movie.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
No, it's a terrible movie.
Not a
That's a
good
good
movie.
movie.
And I saw it in the theater.
The
and it
complete
was-
opposite.
And it was also because we were talking about the other day, last Thursday, with Stan Van Gundy sitting in the front row of a movie theater, and that was one where
Terrible movie.
I mean, the opening weekend for Sahara was apparently a big hit at the Movie Co. in Pembroke Pines in 2007. And so like we showed up to the
I
theater.
won't sit in the front row.
No, I mean we did. Like we
Guaranteed neck pain.
Yeah, you gotta look
for
up like
sure.
that.
Right.
But also, if you've bought a ticket for a movie and it's the only seat that's available, what are you gonna walk out and go home? You spent $8 on a movie ticket and some popcorn. That was in 2007.
Pluto Nash.
Shout out to Steve Zahn though.
I remember seeing Pluto Nash in theaters and thinking this is not good. Like I can't. I should watch it again and give it a fair shake. But Pluto Nash was not a good movie.
Should get a refund.
Do you remember a
Cinephobe,
movie that
Pluto
you...
Nash?
You know what? I see so few movies in the theater when they first come out that I tend to have a real stringent vetting process.
Sure.
Before you get me in a theater, I'm going to investigate that film. I'm going
Right.
to talk to people who have seen it. I want to make sure that it is built to entertain me.
To meet your standards.
Yes, right. Yeah.
I get it.
I had that experience with the Banshees of Inisherin last Friday.
What?
Or I went to
Don't
go
get
see it.
started on this again.
I went to go see it, and I went to go see it in the theater, and I actually had opposite ends of the spectrum. I had Ann Verk tell me that it should be the favorite for Best Picture, and I had Stan Van Gundy tell me it was one of the worst movies he's ever seen.
I would trust Stan every single
Same.
time.
I
Yeah.
gotta be honest.
No, the movie critic, I can't stand the movie.
Exactly.
I agree with Stan Van Gundy.
Wow.
That movie was weird. Movie was bad. I didn't enjoy it. At the end of it, you're like, what the hell did I just watch? And what was
Those
even
are
the
the
point
best
of all that?
movies.
But no, but like it's not even like an interesting take on friendship. It's just two blokes having this war with each other because they don't want to be friends. It was high school, except these dudes are in their 40s and 50s. It was a strange movie. I did not like it.
It's not for everyone.
Right.
But
I
I
mean,
disagree with you. But it's not for everyone.
This is a very meek take by Jessica. Stan Van Gundy had a very strong take.
Well, Stan was like, that sucked.
Well,
I
it's
watched it on a plane and it sucked. I mean, every movie you watch on a plane kind of sucks.
It's
You
not
can't
for
hear them.
it's not for everyone is a very polite way of saying you're a fucking idiot. Is what it's not for everyone is.
You're just too dumb to get it.
I did say that to Stan.
You said it straight up to Stan.
Yeah.
You said
I was doing a thing.
It was too nuanced. It went over your head.
Well, it's coming off the back of him giving credit to Bohemian Rhapsody, which I think is a terrible movie.
Thank you.
Bohemian Rhapsody
You
is
just
not...
said you trust Stan every
is
time on
not
his movie opinions.
Bohemian Rhapsody is not a good movie.
Good
It just has
grief.
good music in it.
Awful movie.
I hope you have booked Stan for tomorrow or later this month because I want a recurring segment with Stan. Stan shits on the classics. Because he's got a whole list of movie opinions on things that are good that he doesn't think are good because he wants to just go there, plop down with a diet soda and have a fun ride for 90 minutes. And he doesn't want Colin Farrell to art house him trying to be friends with some guy.
But
Not
isn't that
even
what
an art
movies?
house movie.
Isn't that what movies are, Dan? Let's just sit down for 90 minutes, have fun, turn off my thinking hat. You know what I mean? Like, let's just entertain me for a little
If
bit.
a movie has been nominated for Best Picture by the Academy, Stan Van Gundy hates it. That's what I learned. That's what I learned last Thursday.
But I think
He's right, though.
Billy has been hiding.
It's not true.
Billy has been hiding in plain sight for a long time around here. He does not want your fancy societal movies. Give him 40 minutes with a rating in the 50s by
No,
the
90
crowd
minutes.
with a lot of exclusions. Excuse me.
Maybe 94.
A lot
50
of
by the critics, 94 by the by the fans.
If there's a spy involved, though, I'll go up to like 110.
Will you watch? Are you excited about the Guy Ritchie movie that he's now bringing
No.
Statham up again
Oh, yes,
in his
I am,
50s?
actually. Yeah,
Well,
no,
wait a
I'm
minute. What
excited
just
about that.
happened
Yeah.
there?
Like you said Guy Ritchie, and
Yes,
that made him
that's
think
what
get over
happened.
yourself.
You see
And then
what
he's a
happened?
spy, and then
That's
now
Billy right there.
Well, yeah,
That's
no,
Billy.
Statham's in it, Aubrey Plaza's in it. I've been looking for this movie
Having
for
a moment.
damn near 2 years to come out because I said, oh my God, Aubrey Plaza and Jason Statham. This can't miss. This movie cannot miss. So I've been trying to figure out for years how to see it because the first time I saw it was years ago. And then it was released like internationally in all these other countries. And I'm like, am I really going to book a flight to France to watch this movie in French with English subtitles? Like, that's probably
Why did
not
you have
financially
such a
responsible.
knee-jerk reaction to the name Guy Ritchie?
Oh, I mean, come on, everybody does. As soon as you say Guy Ritchie, it's like, no, thank you.
Is that
I'm
right?
good. Oh, yeah.
One of the great movie experiences of my life was in London watching Snatch, discovering Snatch.
You could have just said watching Snatch.
Right.
Look at me.
Hubba hubba.
Isn't that Madonna's ex?
Yeah.
How about me, huh? Pop
London,
culture.
huh?
How
Mr.
about
Pop
me?
Culture savvy.
How about me? Huh? Because he knew
you
a
know,
thi-
I was
he-
impressed.
He knew a single thing.
That's it.
retain something from a cover of a People magazine.
Thank you.
2004.
Billy-
Damn right I did.
Proud of you.
Billy, you want every time anything Jason Statham is putting out?
Yeah, almost everything. There's some that you see. Look, here's the thing. Here's the combo with Jason Statham. Because Jason Statham secretly is in like 8,000 movies that are all exactly the same, right? So I can't watch all of them. Although I'd like to, I can't watch all 8,000 Jason Statham movies where he's kind of like the guy that's like kind of a good guy, but he has kind of like a shady past, but like it's time for some like retribution here, and he's really like has a heart of gold, even though he's, you know, has shady ways about going about showing it. So like there's
It's a
1,000 of those
genre.
movies.
It's a wordy genre,
Yeah.
but it's a genre.
It's
Quite a
Statham.
genre.
Yeah, it's a Statham genre. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, I don't want to say he's typecast, but he's a bit typecast. You know, sometimes he's a bad guy, sometimes he's a good guy, but you're always rooting for Jason Statham, right? I can't watch them all. So sometimes I need to just go based off of the poster, the movie poster, because I know what the movie's going to be, but I need the poster to capture my like interest, right? So that's how I decided on a Statham movie. And then this one, again, I saw it was coming out. I was excited about this. And now I can finally do it. I've been looking for months to see where can I stream this because I thought this was going to be like one of those straight to video things. Because I feel like this was like in the 2020, 2021, like movies just getting lost situation where they made movies but they didn't know how to release them. So I've been waiting for this one. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters though. I think it comes out like March 3rd. I don't know if I'm going to go to
Jessica,
theaters.
why? Oh, that's the highest compliment you can give is you would go to the theater. You were just willing to go to France, and now you won't go to a theater.
I didn't. Yeah, I thought about it,
The
but
theaters
I
are
didn't.
probably cheaper in France, though.
Really?
Euro's not doing so well right now.
Jessica's making faces, though, at some of the things that you're saying. She does. Do you not understand his Statham love?
No, I'm still stuck on you saying that you flew to London to watch some.
It's a long way to go. Yeah.
And just for a movie, Dan.
Across the pond.
Jason Statham has 4 movies coming out this year, including
Fast 10.
the Guy Ritchie picture Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre, where he plays a character named Orson Fortune, which is a great name for a Jason Statham character. He's also
It's a heist movie too, I think, which is one of my favorites.
I think I want to go. That sounds
Let's
awesome.
go to France.
All right.
Let's put
What
on
are
a
the-
company
Let's go to
dime.
Paris.
What are the names of the other 3 he has in production?
Fast X,
Ooh.
Meg 2, The Trench.
Meg
Really?
2?
They're making a
Yeah.
second one?
There's a Meg 2?
He plays a character named Jonas, which again,
The
great
Trench?
Jason Statham
What is
character
the
name.
premise
Don't
of the
tell
Meg
me.
movies?
The shark, the giant shark, the Meg.
Yes.
The first one got 46% on the tomato.
Like the
meter, so I don't know
Megalodon?
why they're
First one's
making a
awesome.
second. 42% with the audience.
Dwight was in it from that.
And-
I assume this is an ocean trench.
He's the bad guy.
And
That's
finally,
the trench. It's not a World War I based shark movie, right? I don't know actually.
No, I'm sorry. I think I heard, and I think it's right. Did you just say off mic, Billy? Dwight from The Office was in that movie?
Yeah, he was the bad
He's-
guy.
he's-
Spoiler alert, he's
he's
the
the
bad
bad
guy.
guy.
Yeah, spoiler alert. That's a big spoiler. I shouldn't have said that.
oh,
Guys, shut
here's-
up. Witty's telling us what movies Jason Statham's in this year.
Well, I do want to
How
give you
is that a
first. I do
spoiler?
want to first give you the plot of the Meg, which is previously thought to be extinct. A massive creature attacks a deep-sea submersible, leaving it disabled and trapping the crew at the bottom of the Pacific. With time running out, a visionary oceanographer recruits rescue diver Jonas Taylor to save the crew and the sea itself from an unimaginable threat: a 75-foot-long prehistoric shark known as the Megalodon.
It had it all. There's love stories involved. Oh, it had it all. There's a kid involved.
What is the third movie? that
Oh,
he's
so
making?
the third was Meg 2. Is it the Tranche or the Trench? And finally,
The trench.
The Trench?
The Trench. The
I
Tranche.
was watching a lot of clips of The Big Short last night, so I have tranches on the mind.
God.
Oh.
All right,
Yeah,
go
why didn't
you
go
watch
watch
the movie?
Yeah.
Whittingham, go sit in the penalty
Okay.
box.
I mean,
Go
come
sit
on now.
for
The-
2
the
minutes.
last- the last
no,
movie's-
Jessica
Okay.
will look at your
Don't do
computer.
this.
We
Don't
don't
punish
need,
me. What's the last
Jesus.
movie?
we don't
What's the
need
last
any more of your
movie?
hell.
I'll say what the last
them.
movie is, but first, while we're on the subject of the trench, I saw a TikTok where a girl said that she used to put on socks right after she showered, and then she went to the doctor, and the doctor said she had trench foot. The last movie is The Expendables 4.
Oh, shit.
I haven't
Uh-oh.
dipped my toe in that yet.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
He's Lee Christmas in that.
Lee Christmas.
Seriously?
Who is in the Expendables 4, Billy? I need the cast of When is Expendables 4? They're not going to still do it with Schwarzenegger and Stallone and stuff, are they? They're not going to do this. Statham is back for
I got the
Expendables
cast.
4.
This is gonna shock you. 50 Cent, Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren. That's the only names, and those are only the top 4 build names. Let me see if Sylvester
Dolph's name
Stallone
is
in
Gunnar
it.
Jensen.
Of course it is.
Gunnar.
Sylvester Stallone does have a credit, but he's listed farther down.
Right.
So it's like a cameo?
I don't know. I can't tell.
It's not a starring role in Expendables. Is it even Expendables if it's not Stallone as the centerpiece?
No.
Stallone is over. How close is he to 75, Stugotz?
I believe he's right at
Should we
75.
call it
I'm
the
checking
Cougar
right now.
Mellencamp line? If you're older than John Cougar Mellencamp, you've passed the Cougar Mellencamp line.
Dan, Andy Garcia's in this. Isn't that your mom's favorite actor?
It is.
She would like this movie.
So is Randy Couture.
And if Peter Falk was in it, it'd be the LeBatard family's favorite movie.
76.
What was that?
76 trombones.
He's like the last listed on Wikipedia.
Schwarzenegger's not in it, right?
I don't see a Schwarzenegger.
Those bones have steroids in them, there, Greg.
Nothing wrong with that.
Statham and Expendables 4. Who gets to be the star of that movie as it's presently
Statham.
constituted?
He seems to be top billing on
Yes.
this one. Yeah. What did I miss in the 3, Stugotz? Like, should I go back and I should see the 3 to kind of get key plot points, I would think, for the Expendables. So is it worth seeing the 4th?
I didn't see the third.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
I know.
This paragraph is a who's who of actors wanting to be in this film. So over the years, multiple actors reported interest in being in the 4th installment. Pierce Brosnan wanted to be in it. Jack Nicholson. Clint Eastwood was mentioning interest. Jackie Chan was approached to star in it.
Wait a minute.
Dwayne Johnson
Jack
publicly
Nicholson?
expressed interest. Hulk Hogan claimed he was in talks to play the film's main villain. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I think, wasn't Kelsey Grammer in one of these?
Yeah.
It was in the last one. Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be?
His name was Bonaparte.
Really?
Yeah.
Such a great name. Why are you surprised by Jack? He's only 85. I mean,
Clint Eastwood's even older, if he's alive.
He's 90. What do you mean
He's
if he's
alive.
alive? That's
Yeah.
$50. That's a $50.
No, he
I
said
didn't.
if. He
I
said
said
he said
if.
if he's alive.
I said if.
Yes.
Said if.
Fair
Thank
question.
you.
Terry
think
Crews
he's
is
alive?
in number 3. Ronda Rousey. Is that who's who? Harrison Ford.
Helen Lutz. Shout
Gibson
out to
was in this one.
Twilight.
Jeez.
Billy, you got all excited
Wesley Snipes.
Antonio Banderas.
at Pierce
Jet Li?
Brosnan.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one. Pierce Brosnan. I just saw another Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie 2 nights ago.
Well, he was,
Yeah.
he
The world is not enough. or whatever it's called.
wasn't he he's in Black Adam too against or on the team of The Rock?
Spoiler alert. Jeez, we
Wait,
haven't all
is that-
seen Black Adam.
What do you mean it's a spoiler alert? But Pierce Brosnan, you guys are as fascinated as I am by the fact that all of these people are in their 60s and 70s and playing that they're not expendable because they're literally not. We can't get rid of them.
Yeah,
I love that there's roles for older people in
Exactly.
Hollywood.
Yes.
Like 80 for Brady. Great movie. I haven't
Yep.
seen it yet, but
Here's a
You
69.
can't think that's a great movie.
Great movie. I
I've heard
haven't
it's
seen
not
it
as bad
yet.
as people thought.
I
it
heard
would
it was
be.
very good,
It got
actually.
good-
Really?
Yeah.
It got good ratings, but Jessica, how could you say great movie? I haven't seen it yet.
You could do it.
You could
Just
thank
supporting
you,
the work
guys.
of Lily Tomlin and
But supporting the
Fonda.
work unseen, you can't
Sally
support the
Field.
work unseen. You can't
Name
call it
the bad movie Sally Field has been in. Go ahead.
Boom! I
Thank
dare
you.
you.
Go
ahead.
I dare you.
Name one.
The Flying Nun, her first TV series in the
not-
60s.
That's not a movie, though.
Right.
not a movie.
I made that clear.
And
I
it was
said
iconic.
the TV series in the
That's- why
Late on
did
that
you
one.
do that?
Because that's how Sally Field became a name,
It's just
as
not
a
the-
Flying
Gidget?
Nun. Was Gidget before the Flying Nun?
I think it may have been out.
God
I wanna
almighty.
see the
Okay, I didn't
chronology on
think
that.
the show
Has
could get
Gidget passed
older.
the Cougar Mellencamp line?
I can't.
That's right.
We did Columbo, and you guys mentioned in passing Frank Cannon.
Yes,
and
love Cannon.
I didn't think we could do older than that, but now we're doing older than that. Did you thoroughly cover Frank Cannon, Stugotz? Because I believe Cannon was a detective who was in a wheelchair. It was groundbreaking for its time. But you guys just said something about
No, that was Ironsides.
Ironside, yeah.
Ironside was in the wheelchair.
Frank Cannon was not in a
No,
wheelchair.
he was a big, heavy man who sort of waddled like Andy Reid.
That's some kind of fine. I
right,
mean,
but he was not
putting
in a
a guy in
wheelchair.
a wheelchair.
What
Yeah,
is
that's
the
a
fine?
fine.
Wait a minute. That should be a $25 fine.
Yeah, you're disabling the man against his will.
This show is costing you today. I mean,
What is the fine for that?
25 is fine. I'm good with that. I mean, that's horrible what you did to that poor man.
It is. I thought Frank Cannon was Ironsides, and I thought that that's the oldest show we could do, but it's not. The Flying Nun has made an appearance. The last
Isn't it
time.
also a singular Ironside? I'm looking at a.
Yeah, it's
wiki.
Ironside.
Yeah.
Singular.
Oh, I added an S.
Yeah,
so
added
that's
an
a
S.
fine.
Another fine.
That's a
Oh,
fine as
boy.
well.
They're racking
Right.
up today, man.
It was Raymond Burr.
That's right.
I think he was in a
Oh my
wheelchair,
God.
though. I mean, look
What-
at the cover. Look at the poster.
Yeah, no,
I'm trying
he-
to save Dan some money.
No, I mean, Ironside can confirm in a wheelchair, but just not the actor that you mentioned. Also, when you mentioned the name Raymond Burr, I think like that for me is synonymous with old Hollywood.
Yes, it
like
is.
just like it is covered in
Great.
a film.
It's great.
he was a classic
Age.
Burr. Yeah,
Great hair.
Was he in Gunsmoke?
Oh, that's
No.
another classic.
it is.
Raymond Burr.
Bonanza.
Yeah.
Such a good name.
80
The
for Brady
Cartwrights.
has an 89% audience score.
That's
Great
amazing.
movie.
I've
That's-
seen the
Haven't seen it.
the trailer I saw, and it was cringeworthy.
Oh,
I was shaking my head the entire time. Are they still making movies like this? I'm thinking to myself.
I heard Jane Fonda on with Conan, and she was basically saying that like I only did the movie because I just wanted to hang out with Lily Tomlin again because like we have such a good time.
I love
they
that.
They did that Netflix show Grace and Frankie where like they were doing there was just sort of a buddy comedy, and she's like, yeah, I just wanted to hang out with Lily Tomlin again. She's great, and the movie it was fun. And honestly, I'm surprised. That's a major upset. When all of us saw the preview for that movie, it was like this is gonna be awful. It's kind of like when I saw the preview for Ted Lasso for the first time. I was like, who the hell is gonna watch this? And it turned out to be Apple's biggest success.
William Conrad was the guy who played Frank Cannon. He was also the Fat Man in Jake and the Fat Man.
Thank you, Roy.
You're welcome.
That's a good name for a show, Jake and the Fat Man.
Yes, it is.
I would say that that's not a show that we could have anymore, but there is a show in Spanish television called El Gordo y la Flaca, which, is probably a name that we ought to retire, but, Spanish television.
Two
They're
Americas.
doing their thing over there.
What do you mean 2 Americas?
Well, 3 Americas, actually.
Go drink
It's always 3
Fabuloso.
Americas,
Jeez.
yes.
Speaking of multiple Americas, I just wanted La Esquina's opinion on Fabuloso, a trademark product in South Florida. It should sponsor everything in South Florida, recalling 4.9 million bottles. Why are you laughing, Billy? What
It'll
do
be
you-
fine. You'll be
It's
fine.
also an international tragedy, I think.
It'll be
Dan
fine.
seems to think it's only sold in Miami.
No, it's sold everywhere. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the illicit drug trade. Wherever you have a Hispanic person, you will find Fabuloso or Mitolin, one of the two.
You got to be careful because it looks like grape juice.
That's
you know,
It
you-
does look delicious.
Yeah, it does.
And it smells delicious, too.
They
Yeah.
need to have a label on that. Seriously,
Great
Not-
packaging.
do.
Yeah.
They have labels on
It
it.
does have great packaging.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Like
am
Welch's
curi-
grape soda.
Right.
Yes.
I am curious, though, of the outreach of Fabuloso, because it is a product that is synonymous with my childhood, synonymous with Hispanic culture, and I still use Fabuloso to clean my own bathroom. But I wonder, how far this reaches out into American society. Is this a problem that is going to reach, Walmarts in Alabama or Targets in Oklahoma? Is this going to be a thing that, or is it genuinely just a Miami thing?
Well, it's not. Jessica's making fun of me for saying that I think of Miami. When I think of a product, I don't even know what else I'd choose. If it's a Sedano's or Goya, where I'm not sure.
Cafe Bustelo, something
Bustelo,
like
yeah,
that.
for sure.
Where I'm not sure if something is a part of Hispanic culture down here or it's part of Hispanic culture throughout the United States and beyond.
Juju said earlier that they use it in the hood, so it's not just a Miami.
Well, but it's
Thank you. Well, you hit the wrong one.
White woman.
I'll tell you this much, Dano. It was found out that there are no recalled Fabuloso products in Antigua and Barbuda. So
Nice.
Ooh.
it's worldwide.
it's cheap.
How dare you? You're cheap.
Wait, what?
Good retort.
Yeah, it really was.
A lot of recalls these days. I love a good recall. A good class action suit.
What?
I start thinking if I ever use Roundup before, if I ever lived near a military base in North Carolina,
Do you
just
have
wedge
mesothelioma?
wedge my way in. Yes, the book.
You have to use Fabuloso with the Cuban mop, right? There's no other way to do it.
Well, how would you explain a Cuban mop to the people? Un
That's
trapo?
that's the thing that I'm not sure of, because I grew up and it was called the Cuban
Witty
mop.
gatekeeping me over here.
And then I Google Cuban mop and I see what I think is known as the Cuban mop, but I don't
What
want
does
to
your
be.
Cuban mop look like?
Oh, it's a wooden pole with
Right.
another wooden smaller thing at the end. It's like a T-shaped thing, and then you put like a trapo on it,
Right.
like a
an
cloth.
old towel.
Yeah,
Oh,
an
yeah.
old towel. Sometimes you do an orange one or a purple one, and then you just throw a bunch of Fabuloso on the floor and you just start.
You don't mix it
mopping.
first?
You start trapeando
What I do is I put it in a bucket.
in a bucket. Yeah,
My
and then
wife
you-
and I put it in a bucket,
yeah.
and then you mix it in.
and then you
suds
dunk
come
it.
out.
But
dunk
there's
it.
an art to tying the cloth, right, Billy? To getting the
No, you
cloth
cut a
tied
hole
up.
in the middle
There's
of it.
some cheat codes now that they make
Yeah.
with the hole in the middle, so you just kind of put it through.
Through the top part and
But
it sits
that's
on the bottom.
you're saying that's just a Cuban mop, or is
No,
that just?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's called something else. I was always known
But
as a Cuban mop.
You
to
you
me.
think I have it wrong though on Fabuloso being one of the cheaper cleaning products? That it's a purple cheap product.
I think-
economical? maybe.
exactly.
Not
Thank you,
cheap.
Billy.
Economical.
Exactly.
Man.
Economical
Big
means
difference.
everybody can use it. Cheap
Yeah.
means you don't really want to use it. It's kind of there
Yeah,
in the corner.
no,
I-
this thing is.
It is
good
not
for you.
cheap. It is high quality.
I'm telling you
actually.
right now, we were talking across the hall. I was talking to Matt, and he was saying that, similar to Greg, that it looks delicious, right?
Yeah, it does.
And then I said, yeah. And he said, I've thought about drinking it, and then it would clean out my insides. I'm like, absolutely. Go for it.
Of course you did.
Yeah. If it can clean the floor, it can clean your insides, is what I
You
always
guys,
say.
you guys would agree. The reason I think of this as a Miami product is because it's a childhood scent that I've only felt recreated that reminds me of childhood when I'm staying at a hotel and a cleaning lady, and it usually won't be one of the better hotels. A cleaning lady.
Jeez.
What does that mean?
It's what
Wow,
I'm
a 4-star one.
Damn,
for
when
you.
did- yeah, where are you
4.5
staying? It's a
star,
bad
yeah.
hotel.
This was the
Yeah.
last time you stayed in a bad
Exactly. Tell me the
hotel.
last time you stayed on
My God.
International Drive for $30
exactly.
a night.
Mr. Ritz Carlton over here.
Yeah, Best Western. What's going on?
Mr.
Dan
Four
Carlton.
Seasons.
no, there are no good hotels in Key West. And
Oh, that's not true.
Wow.
There's some really good hotels in Key West. We've stayed
Greg
at them.
knows.
There's some duds
Greg
too.
is
but-
Key West.
I'm going down to Key West in a couple of weeks.
So am I, Greg.
Are you really?
oh,
kidding.
Let's have a
hang out.
drink.
Oh.
Nice. I think in a couple of weeks. You have to call my wife, find out. She
Already
does all
trying
my
to duck
booking.
our drink plans.
I'm with Dan though. There are no good places to stay in Key West.
Oh, au contraire. The Pier House, I think it's called.
Don't tell him, Greg. They
No,
don't
I'm not,
deserve to know.
because then,
Keep it
then,
secret.
They're
then
being
it'll.
mean.
I have a Cuban mop in my garage, by the way, and I never knew what it was. I just thought it was a big piece of wood shaped like a T, which I use to reach behind my
it a cross?
washer and dryer and clean things out that have fallen.
It's a tough crevice.
Right, it is. But my housekeeper happens to be Honduran, and he uses the Cuban mop like a pro. It's a magic wand in his hands. I mean, it's. I watch him because it's so impressive.
It is a skill that not everybody
You
has.
would pay money if you had to.
Oh, I would. Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
rhythmic
Well, you do pay
gymnastics.
money,
You're
technically,
amazed
yeah.
by the beauty and grace
Right.
of how he swings a cloth around, a damn cloth.
I'm not great at it. It's something that not everybody can do.
It's a learned
Exactly.
trait.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to work at
It's
it.
passed down from generation
Because
to
there's
generation.
lots of water there, and you have to figure out how not to get the water under the baseboards, because then that'll cause like mold and
Or
all
on a
kinds of things
rug.
you don't want. Exactly
Like
right.
heck.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you just have your cleaners use that product, Dan, if you miss the smell?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
There you go.
It's a national recall, by the way. It's 5 million bottles
Whoa.
in the U.S. and Canada.
Ouch.
I think you just kind of power through it. You know what I mean? Let's just use them. Why not?
I just don't understand how a cleaning product.
I don't
could be,
either.
Like the whole.
Could have bacteria in it.
But,
That's what it was. That's what the recall was. It was bacteria.
Ooh.
but the whole point of the product is to kill the bacteria.
Right. It
But
does.
just pour
Doesn't
Fabuloso on
seem
it.
to be
it work?
working.
Does
It
seem
doesn't seem to be
counterintuitive.
working.
We should
Stugotz
recall
of
it.
cleaning products.